So, I have decided to try and document some of the work that I've been doing this semester. And that work would be taking over roles in Infinity Productions. So, real quick, I am going to go over what exactly Infinity is, what I'm doing, and a couple of the episodes that we've been done this semester. So yeah, let's take a look at that. Infinity is Hampshire's own student-run film group. We operate down in Studio G in the library media basement. We work closely with John Bruner, the media coordinator, who knows everything about everything down in the basement. Infinity does live stream shows generally every Friday. Supposed to be every Friday. Of student-made content. One of the things Infinity does a lot is we try to help other people record their things. If someone's got a script written but they don't know how to produce or don't have a crew to work in the studio, you're welcome to come to Infinity. In the past, we've even helped people during shoots. Like, people just come down on Friday while we're shooting our normal shoot and are like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I have something I'd like to shoot. Can I do that? Totally. Though usually it becomes part of the episode. For example, during episode 4, I believe, when the MIM news arrived, we were recording an outside person's some kind of advertisement for his Div 3, Tim Raxworthy, and that was when we got the MIM news. So we got the MIM news during his footage, so that got cut into the episode.
What? The producers are saying, MIM! It's about MIM! MIM!
Well, what about him?
MIM has resigned, everybody.
This semester in Infinity, Matt Spring, who was the technical director, is now in the final semester of his Div 3, so needs a lot of time to work on that. So this semester, I guess pretty much in the first weeks of this semester, we transitioned to me being the technical director of Infinity, which has been a lot of work. I always seen Matt super stressed out about this shit, but I guess I didn't realize how much it was until it was all on me. But essentially I'm the person who has to come into the studio first every shoot, turn everything on. I have to be the guy that when people who come into the shoots, the studios that don't know what's going on but want to take part in everything, I'm the person that understands how everything operates well enough to try and explain it to people on the fly. I'm also the first person to troubleshoot things when tech goes wrong, which is so much. It happens a lot, especially when a lot of different people are cycling through spaces like that, where things just are constantly being changed, just little nitpicky things that you wouldn't think matter, but then it throws everyone else off. So I talked about episode 0 in an earlier, shorter version of this. I'm going to skim over it again. We did a short news segment about the history of Hampshire sit-ins and those types of political things on campus, and we also had a very atmospheric dance with singing and a mermaid poem.
I can
very
say that
nice.
Things feel different.
For that episode, that was episode 0 of this season. We still had a director, me, the technical director, and a producer. This was the last one. Actually, episode 1, we might have had the director.
I got wrecked.
But after that, the director, the person who was in the director position, stopped showing up, and we never really tried to appoint anyone else, which was a problem. You need all 3 in any official shoot. It is chaos without any specific one of them. So, during episode 1 of season 2 of Infinity Fridays, we started off with a new show called Spicy Nerds, led by Luke and Mania, who are, I believe, as much as I recall, new to Infinity this semester. I think Luke might have been to a writer's meeting or 2 last semester. But, they started this new recurring show, which has only had, I think, 1 properly planned episode, but that's just how Infinity's going this semester. But, yeah, So they talk about their original planned episode was a game show little thing, answering questions about anime while eating spicy noodles. Next up on episode 1, I believe we went straight into Hampshire's Got Talent episode 1, where we had the amazing, talented Owen Knight.
When I first saw those eyes, I felt a spark. I took your hand and said, do you want to get coffee with me? There's a great new place we should try. The coffee's pretty good, but the scones are kind of dry.
I should also mention that while they're not specifically duties of the technical director, I also do a lot of Infinity's social media stuff this semester, as well as the photoshops for YouTube thumbnails, which some of which have been pretty great, I think. I had some fun doing those. So in episode 2 of this semester, we had a lot more pre-recorded content. We had the first episode of Tafaki is Going On, which is Tafaki's Div 3 project.
Nationalism.
Which, the first one, he was talking about Trump's nationalist comments, about how he's a nationalist because he puts America first, and how problematic that entire thing is. And then we move on to Squandered Nuns, the first episode of Squandered Nuns, a new soap opera series created by Waylon Costello, which is about a bunch of,
started 15 minutes ago.
squandered
Why
nuns.
are you not with your peers? I was just caught reading. Or were you caught snacking?
It's a neat little show. I don't believe much content has been put out on this one since then, though, which is part of why I don't know how to explain it.
They framed me. These bitches framed me. The top ones framed me. The rap guys we did. Woo! And I'm not their kind of lady.
So, I tried to explain episode 3, stream 3 in like a car video thing, which seemed like a cool idea to me. I thought it was a cool shot. The audio on it is awful, so I'm just gonna repeat what I said really simply over it right now. So, stream 3, week 3, we had a lot of technical difficulties. The start of the week, Monday night, the class that I was TAing, one of the main recorder, or the studio's main output to SD cards, died out of nowhere. So that was a major problem. No one could record for the whole week. John, as soon as he found out, ordered a new one. The new one had new firmware on it, so Shine had to update all the others. But in doing that, we had an IP address issue, which basically means that all the recorders and all the different parts of the switcher have to be connected through Ethernet cables. And essentially, when we put the new one in, one of the addresses was incorrect. So basically, there's a bunch of houses on this street, but someone new moved in, and it was supposed to be to a new address, but it ended up being the same address as someone else. So now, in fixing it, we changed up all the addresses and fucked everything up. So, yeah, now everybody's getting each other's Netflix because the mail is all wrong. I don't think the old lady across the street wants to be watching Silence of the Lambs. That was a mess. A lot of things broke. At some point, the switcher board wasn't working, so we literally couldn't have recorded or streamed or done anything. Eventually, we got that back. Everything's working again. We managed to record. I plan to do most of the editing in post because of all the problems. Also a big project, but I'll get to that. We were supposed to have a lot of pre-recorded content. Like, there was footage promised from Hamp Rise Up that never came in. One of the videos for Tafaki's Div 3, which is actually done now and should be airing soon. But this was months ago when it was supposed to be done. But we also had, I think, Writers Meeting episode 2 aired during this week. We had, there was also Spicy Nerds, which I actually talked about in footage that I recorded in the studio that day, so I'll cut to that. So this is the show Spicy Nerds, and they are currently talking about underrated anime. And there's so many of them. So after that, we did another episode of Hampshire's Got Talent. This one, since we were recording, not streaming, we told the talent if he wanted to, he could restart his song if he really felt he needed to. This somehow became a problem because he could not get all the way through his song and kept restarting all the way from the beginning. He did this long enough that the SD card we were recording on filled up and we had to stop. We couldn't record anymore. So that was a weird end to episode 3, but what are you gonna do, I guess? Cameras make everyone nervous. It's just how it is sometimes. But that's how that week went. Alrighty, so I'm gonna try and do this one a little quick because I gotta go eat. But so Infinity Shoot today. Today is Friday, April 5th. So during the shoot today, Mim resigned. Out of nowhere, right before we were shooting Infinity News. We were actually shooting somebody else's, I think a tagline or something for the div. When we got the news, there's a clip of it here.
Mim has resigned just now.
What?
Really?
So, literally minutes before we were starting Infinity News, we found out, hey, Mim just resigned after the Hamp Rise Up email that went out last night. So we had to last minute add that into the news, which was already last minute. But that was crazy. There's people celebrating outside the library. As I was walking out after shutting down the shoot and everything, there's people walking around, celebrating, playing music. I have a clip of that too. But yeah, that's crazy shit that's happening right now. The rest of the shoot went pretty well. We did Hampshire's Got Talent. We had TK come on and do finger tricks, pen tricks, something. He was really good. He's twisting his pencil around everywhere. But yeah, we while we were recording that, Abdullah was like, hey, cameras, start moving around. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Totally. So they start moving around. I set up multiple layers going on at once. I started doing the fly key too, just flying cameras around as well. So that got a little off the rails, but it looks pretty cool, I think. I haven't looked back at the footage yet, but when we were doing it, it looked pretty cool. So I'm gonna go eat and see if the 100 gigabytes of footage have finished transferring. So, April 12th, the week after episode 4, we did episode 5. We started out with a short news segment. Infinity is supposed to always be doing the news. We were lacking a little bit this semester and needed to start it up again. But we talked about a few things. I think it was mostly the Daily Digest and experimenting with cameras while doing that. But we also talked about, briefly at least, the black hole. Recently, images of a black hole have been taken because of just the way light works, and it looks really cool. We talked about that real quick. After that, I did a little short little transitional humor bit where I played an old man named Charlie who not only believes in Bigfoot but thinks that Bigfoot is a ghost and tries to explain to a very confused Infinity cast and crew how Bigfoot could possibly be a ghost and how ghosts can have footprints or whatever the hell I said.
Look like anybody else's footprints, but they won't if that ghost ain't a human. That's why Bigfoot's ghosts, their tracks are just disappearing out of nowhere. Not like a 700-pound hairy old man disappears out of nowhere. You can't do that.
After that, we moved on to the most editing intensive Spicy Nerds we have ever done. It was a really good shoot, but Luke and Mania had not prepared anything, any images whatsoever beforehand, so the raw footage is just green. So I had to edit in everything. I ended up deciding to do changing the camera angles on their background with every camera change, which was horrendous to do. It took so long. I also grabbed animated footage of a lot of the shows they talked about for this one, at least where I could. So yeah, just a lot of editing. This is also the episode where the shoe saga started, where Abdullah keeps threatening people with his shoes for whatever reason.
Abdullah dreams wildly. All right, my next choice is from my...
Our producer just threatened to throw a shoe at us. I'm sorry.
If I hadn't mentioned earlier, this Spicy Nerds is their top, 9 waifus or something, though part of the bit was that half of them were, I guess, husbandos, or whatever the hell they're calling them. But the last one, their surprise guest or whatever, was Abdullah, because Abdullah pulls everything together. So it wouldn't be right to talk about all this stuff with Infinity this semester without at least mentioning Abdullah.
Alright, my name is Muhammad Abdullah Kavish. I'm a Div 1 student here at Hampshire, and I'm majoring in filmmaking and acting.
Normally in any shoot you'd need a technical director, a main director, and a producer. Our shoot has had me, the technical director, and Abdullah sort of filling in the role of producer, as one of Infinity's overheads. And Abdullah has done a lot of the stuff that I couldn't do to hold Infinity together this semester.
And learn how to work with one another in a safe space where people can embrace themselves and embrace one another and lift one another.